Some letters are never meant to be opened. Some truths are too painful to face. But when life tears you apart, sometimes it's a final message that gives you the strength to hold on. The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros is a heartbreaking and powerful story of love, loss, and second chances. It begins with tragedy and unravels into a journey of unexpected connection, raw emotion, and resilience that can only be born from pain. This isn't just a love story. It's a letter to every heart that's ever been shattered and still dared to love again. Beckett Gentry never planned to fall for her. As a soldier deep in the mountains of Afghanistan, he had only one connection to the outside world: letter from his best friend's sister, Ella. What started as a simple favor, a way to keep morale up, turned into the highlight of his days. Ella's words were full of life, humor, and hope. She painted pictures of a world far from war. She talked about her twins, her struggles, her triumphs, and unknowingly, she began to heal the broken places in Beckett. He never told her who he really was. In the letters, he signed as Chaos, his call sign, never revealing the truth that her brother Ryan had died in his arms. That secret sat like a stone in his chest with every word he wrote. Ella has always known how to survive. As a single mother, raising two young twins, one of whom is fighting a life-threatening illness, she's no stranger to pain. The only bright spot in her chaotic life had been the letters from Chaos, the mysterious soldier who connected with her on a level no one else had. She poured out her soul to him, found comfort in his replies, and began to depend on his presence even though she'd never met him. Then came the letter that shattered everything. Ryan, her brother, her rock, was dead. And Chaos, her only real connection to hope, disappeared without a word. Months pass. Grief weighs heavy on Ella, and so does the burden of keeping her children healthy and safe. She's exhausted, running out of resources, and out of time, especially with Maisie, whose medical condition is deteriorating. Then the unthinkable happens. Beckett shows up on her doorstep, not as Chaos, not as the man from the letters, but as a stranger who claims to be keeping a promise. To Ryan, a man with shadows in his eyes and guilt in his bones, and Ella doesn't know the truth. She doesn't know he's Chaos. She doesn't know he's already loved her from afar. Beckett arrives at Solitude, Colorado, the remote cabin property Ella inherited, ready to help, to fulfill Ryan's last wish. What he doesn't expect is how deeply unprepared he is to face the living version of the woman who's been haunting his thoughts for years. Ella is beautiful and fierce and guarded. She's also rightfully suspicious of this man claiming to know her brother and offering to help with her children, but desperation forces her hand. She needs someone. And Beckett is willing to do whatever it takes. Living together in close quarters, tension brews. Not just from the secrets Beckett is keeping, but from the undeniable chemistry neither of them can ignore. Beckett is amazing with the kids. He's steady and kind and patient, but every moment spent with Ella is like walking a tightrope. He wants to tell her the truth. He aches to come clean, but fear of losing her completely keeps him silent. So he works, he protects, he loves from a distance. And slowly, the walls between them start to fall. Ella begins to trust him, in small moments, in cautious glances. There are laughs shared across the dinner table, quiet nights with the children, and a growing sense that this man who walked into her life out of nowhere might just be the anchor she never thought she'd find. But there's still so much she doesn't know. And Beckett lives every day under the weight of that truth. That he is Chaos, that he knew her brother's final moments, that he held onto her letters like lifelines, and that every word he wrote was for her. As Maisie's condition worsens, the pressure becomes unbearable. The possibility of losing her child consumes Ella. Beckett stands beside her through every appointment, every night in the hospital, every breakdown. His devotion is unwavering, and yet the truth remains between them like a razor's edge. When it finally comes out, it doesn't come quietly, it explodes. Ella feels betrayed, gutted, as if her heart has been ripped open once again. The man she let in, the man she trusted with her children, had been lying to her all along. The fallout is brutal. Beckett leaves, broken and hollow, convinced he's lost her for good. Ella is furious, devastated not just by the betrayal but by the loss of the future she was starting to believe in. But love has a way of finding light in even the darkest places, and sometimes the heart knows what it needs before the mind can catch up. When life takes another unexpected turn, Beckett must decide if he's going to keep running or finally fight for the woman who has always been his home. Through grief and healing, rage and forgiveness, The Last Letter unravels the journey of two people pulled together by fate, torn apart by truth, and ultimately bonded by a love that defies circumstance. Beckett and Ella's story is one of raw vulnerability, of learning that broken doesn't mean unlovable, that sometimes the most powerful love stories begin with goodbye. Rebecca Yarros writes with gut-punching emotion, bringing every character to life with stunning honesty. The pain is real, the hope is earned. Every page cuts deeper, drawing you into a world where letters become lifelines and love is the only thing worth fighting for. The twin children bring warmth and innocence to a narrative heavy with adult sorrow. Maisie's fight against illness adds urgency and emotional depth that amplifies every moment. And the slow burn romance between Ella and Beckett simmers with heartache and longing until it ignites. The story moves between past and present letters in real time, giving readers insight into the emotional lives of both characters. You feel Beckett's guilt, his longing, his helplessness. You live through Ella's exhaustion, her strength, her overwhelming love for her children. The secondary characters, including her best friend and the community that surrounds them, add texture and support, making the world feel full and grounded. Even in its loneliest moments, the last letter asks what you would do for the people you love. Would you sacrifice your truth to protect their heart? Would you walk away to give them a chance at peace? Would you fight for a second chance when you already lost everything? This is not a fairy tale. It's a story written in hospital rooms, in war zones, in silent nights, and hopeful mornings. It's about real people trying to hold on when everything is slipping away. And when the final letter is written, it's not an ending, it's a beginning. This is a love story carved from grief and stitched together with letters that refuse to be forgotten. If you're ready to feel everything, to cry, to hope, and to believe in love that survives even the harshest truths, the last letter will leave a mark you won't forget. Call to action. Link in description.